GM. We are live. This is a DBQ waiting room, and I think I'm actually going to hop out of this and just try to hop into a main BR. But good morning, everyone. Good morning to all of you. Appreciate y'all coming in, hanging out. It is, of course, Thursday, October 9th. We got a Thursday night football game on the slate. We got Cam Scatabo back in action. We got our new Scatabo jersey on today to celebrate the occasion. The return of Tyrone Tracy. We will see what the backfield has in store for our king, Cam Scatabo. To be perfectly candid, I think he probably operates best in a role where he does not have the entirety of the backfield to keep himself fresh. This might sound like cope. That's fine. If you want to take it that way, you can. But I do think we're going to get some really nice, multi-touchdown games from Scatabo. I think he's going to continue to act as the goal line back. I think he's still going to be heavily involved no matter what the allocation for Tracy is. I'm not too worried about Tracy taking the majority of the carries. I don't think that's how it's going to shake out. If it does, you know what? I still think we are going to be okay. I would still love to see more designed passes to Scatabo, take advantage of him in space, having to have a few, one-on-ones, break a tackle, get loose, chunk play kind of stuff versus just running headlong into, stacked boxes and whatnot, especially with neighbors out. I think it might be tough. Some of the kind of up the middle 3 yard in a cloud of dust kind of carries, but regardless, he is playing tonight. Hopefully it's a fun game. We got the Eagles on the other side of it. I did not check the line, but I have to imagine they're pretty heavily referenced. GM Candles and the gang. Hey, Greg, appreciate you. Thank you so much. Greg, yes, it is a Point Break reference. I got yesterday I admitted to a sweatshirt on sale. That was also on sale. The Utah, give me two. Referring, of course, famously to the Meatball Subs. Meatball Subs asking Johnny Utah to get him a meatball sub while they were supposed to be surveilling a bank, allowing the well, I don't want to spoil Point Break because it's literally the best movie ever made. I say that with zero irony. Point Break is incredible film, one of the best action movies ever done. Back in 1991, the pacing is perfect, the plot is great. They remade it. The remake sucks. If you want to watch a remake of Point Break, watch the first Fast and the Furious. It's the same exact movie. They just replaced surfing with drag racing. Same movie, same plot, same everything. I also love Fast and Furious, great movie. But Point Break, the OG, that's your Point Break plug of the day. I said I was going to hop into a main BR, and I got distracted by Point Break there. So let's hop into a main BR. We're waiting for 5, so it should be a true friends and family if anyone wants to get on real time. Hashtag we know you know ball on real time. You are one of the true ball knowers out there. Appreciate you coming by, hanging out there. Go AZ Cards says top of the morning. Go AZ Cards. Good to see you in here. I was in the streets with you last night. I feel like you took someone notable. I was in the 11 and you were in the 12. You didn't snipe me because I think we were after different positions, but you made a pick, and I did the like, okay, I see you there. Nod. I can't remember who you took. I probably saved the draft board, but no one else is really going to be too in the weeds to care. But anyway, go AZ Cards. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming in, hanging out. Utah, give me 2. Yeah, Gary Busey at his apex before he became a true just caricature of himself. Great movie. Stephen WC, good morning, everyone. Hey, good morning to you, Stephen. Thanks for coming in, hanging out today. If anyone wants to hop in, we are waiting for 2 in this main BR. The eliminators came out, and I am going to get stomped. I have 1 eliminator team left. I started with 47, and while we're waiting, we're still waiting for 1. So let me plop over to this. The early projections say I have a 37% chance. I don't agree. I think I have like a 2% chance. Somehow, this very odd team that this person built with 4 quarterbacks, including Russell Wilson and Tyler Shuck. Okay. They got Jaden Daniels. Pretty good. They've got a Cook team. You look at the running backs, it's like, well, this isn't amazing, but they do have James Cook. But then Amon-Ra, Puka, Olave, QJ, and somehow this team has Taysom Hill. how am I facing a Taysom Hill team that's in here? Like, running into an Amon-Ra, Puka, QJ team. Now, I have Amon-Ra and QJ, so normally I'd be like, this team's pretty good. No, I'm facing off against Puka. I'm facing off against Jaden Daniels. They've got Cook, who's been just an absolute wagon. Kareem Hunt's been like a thing. It's very unfortunate. So, and I have Travis Kelce, so do they. So we'll see. We're gonna rely on Tucker Kraft getting home. Garrett Wilson against the Dolphins could be who you need. It's not in the main slate, so maybe I'm underestimating what they can do. But anyway, this is my last eliminator team. Will High 824. Very, very interesting, 4 QB team, but it has gotten there for him. But we're back. Let me switch tabs here. We're in at the 5. Peter Overzet is in the room. So Peter Overzet must be doing some morning drafts. We'll keep an eye on what Pete is up to. Yeah, it was Michael Mayer. It was Michael Mayer. Go AZ Cards. You're right. That was who you took. Yeah, he's a light tight end scroll. I'm going to start sprinkling in to my my Dawg Bowls. I'm probably not going to do that many more Dawg Bowls, so I'll see how much of him I actually end up with. Again, I said I was going to try to cut to about 20, maybe 25 this week, and I'm already getting close. And I'm going to do at least 2 on stream today, probably 2 tomorrow, and so we'll see what I end up at. But yeah, that was the Michael Mayer click. Appreciate you letting me know, because I was like, I knew there was somebody. Greg says Puka's back is hurting from carrying this team. Yeah, truly. Greg says, how does this advance need to play Eliminator next year? It's funny. Everyone was so in on Eliminator for the first 3 weeks, and and I was afraid of this. We're starting to get to the point where it's like, you have 8 teams left and you have a bad week and you lose 5 or 6. It starts to feel bad, and by week 8, most people won't have any teams, and so it's like, I don't know. I don't know how people are going to feel about. I think after week 2, people were like, Eliminator's the greatest contest. They need to quadruple the size and run multiple of these. And now I wonder how people are going to feel when the season wraps up, because so many teams, there is just so much luck and variance in here. I think I'll play this one kind of straight up here. We'll ease on into the morning. I'll go with ADP. We'll take JSN. There's a lot of really good running backs in this range. I think if you want to take 2 in here, you can. I'm going to target Genty. We'll skip over A-Chain and Javonte, although, I like both of them quite a bit. I've been trying to get a little bit more Genty. I think, Davis is very high on Genty. I agree with that take. I think Genty is in line for some pretty hefty workload against the Titans this week. Yeah, that team definitely had to get well, I don't know. They Cook must have carried him for multiple weeks there. So I don't know. Would love to see some little eliminators. Yeah, it would be kind of fun if they did something like that. I prefer the big eliminator format, which was last year's eliminator format, which was most weeks it's you got to finish in the top 6 of 8 or the top 4 of 6 or 8 of 10. It varies as this contest goes on. It kind of gets bigger and smaller. I think there's 1 week. I think next week it's 2 of 4, so it starts getting a little tougher. But you run into less situations where your team that scores 155 points that would have beaten 98% of the field loses. That just sucks. We know there's luck, but some of these edge cases are really well, but kind of what's the point if we're eliminating really good teams? It really does feel like. What do you say about the team that won the eliminator at the end? Do you say this was the best team, or was this the luckiest team? No, obviously the team that wins BBM had to get lucky, but the team that wins eliminator had to get really lucky. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what it's showing. It just feels very much like a lottery. And all of these big contests are lotteries in some form or of another, but I don't know, the just weekly elimination element where you have no control over who you're playing, and that can, again, you can just have really good teams just get booted from the contest. All right, let's see. We got Genty and JSN. maybe we will. I like Diggs. I think I want some Dowdle. There's a couple good scroll down backs that we like Rashad White is pretty cool. I think we should be trying to get some of him. Um, I say a couple. I actually don't really love most of this range below here. And if you really put a gun to my head, I would take Ramondre over Travion. I think these guys are not in the correct order with how they're going to get used. As much as we hate to say it, please don't put a gun to my head. I would really not enjoy that experience. But if for some reason I was forced to make a pick, that is how I would truly have them ranked. Do I want one of the elite tight ends? Because if I don't take one here, I don't get them. But I do kind of want to do a Diggs. Let's take Diggs. Let's take Diggs. Maybe we could find a scrolly tight end if we have to. So we will go JSN, Genty, Dowdle, Diggs. So we're going to end this team with a tight end and a quarterback. All right, let's see. Greg says all the high dollar contests get the cool, favorable advance rates. Yeah, I mean, last year the regular elim had that one, and they just kept it. I feel like a big eliminator, like $100 eliminator with 50, I don't know if that would fill. That would have been really if it had the same format as the regular eliminator. Same draft. I think I sniped you on Dowdle. We'll probably go AZ cards. You famously enjoy sniping me. Here I am just trying to earn an honest buck in a dishonest world, and I have my friends trying to chop my legs out from under me. No, I'm kidding, of course. You can't snipe someone at Dowdle. Dowdle is just a really good pick, no matter where you take him especially in the Dawg Bowl. I don't even think I considered you sniping me. It's one of those man, if I can, if he falls to me, that would be awesome. But no, and no worries. Go AZ cards eliminator, but super flex. The Gale, I have learned I just stink out loud at Superflex. So that's something I've just realized about myself. Maybe if I put the work into it, but I think I'm advancing two of 30 Superflex teams or something really sad like that. I do not think I see the board well. I don't think I understand the pockets or roster construction as well as maybe I thought I did. I didn't do a ton of them, so I'm not hurting. It was more an experiment because I really played virtually none last year, and I tried to get into it this year. So I either need to try harder or just not do it at all and focus on the contests that I've got a shot at. But I think the one thing about Superflex is the early ADP value is actually real. Sometimes in BBM when it opens, there's a really crazy ADP, but you try to get it in a room, and everyone who is doing BBMs when the contest opens is also trying to get it, so you don't actually realize that value. So hold on one second. We're on the clock. We got kneecapped with the Drake Young going. So I have to decide, do I want a Darnold stack? I'm going to do an unstacked Jordan Love with apologies to Cut Cutler. Are you the craft guy? No, you're not the craft guy, so I don't feel bad. I haven't done as much unstacked Love. I think unstacked Love is actually super viable this week. So we're going to just try to play this as a 6-leg parlay. I do like Hunter Henry probably more than some of the other guys after him. Njoku is not very creative, but Gabriel does really seem to like him. So I'm happy to just take an Njoku share. I know we talked about Michael Mayer. I think he's fine. I think he's fine in the 6 persons, but you probably don't need to, get too much of him to get, a pretty big leverage edge. Again, first draft, kind of want to ease into things, and we'll take the just kind of next man up past Hunter Henry there. So this team ends up being JSN, Genty, Dowdle, Diggs, Love, and Njoku. Again, pretty much no correlation across this team, but sometimes to win the big BR, you're kind of trying to hit a 6-leg parlay. Love have so many different targets. I do think it's possible unstacked Love will get there, much in the way unstacked Mahomes got there 2 weeks ago. I don't see that as too different of a bet, and I like all these other pieces kind of individually. So again, I would have taken Drake May had he come to me, but he didn't. Pete took him. Let's check out Pete's team. Pete went CMC, A-Chain, Devontae Adams, Jake Ferguson, Drake May. He's going to take a receiver. He scrolls for Zay Flowers. I actually really like Zay Flowers this week, especially if we see Cooper Rush back there. The Rams have been vulnerable to the pass. Cooper Rush has shown a willingness to lock on to their primary. Zay Flowers did almost get there. He kind of saved his day with one long catch. The Texans' pass defense is not a joke, so I'm willing to give Flowers a pass. I think he's a great scroll in the 6-person BRs. I'm not just saying that because it's Pete. I do like Zay Flowers. I've been mixing him in mind, so I like the Zay Flowers team. Pete also takes an unstacked quarterback with the Drake May play. So Drake May obviously a little more rushing upside than, or I would say by a significantly more rushing upside than Jordan Love. But I think that might be balanced out by Jordan Love. Again, we're playing, he spreads the ball around, doesn't necessarily carry anyone with him there. So, all right, we will, first of all, let me do a couple of things. Well, here, let me catch up with chat. Then let me do some housekeeping for a second here. Dave M says GM belated. Congrats on Dawg Bowl. Hey Dave, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Can't wait to get to Kansas City, meet everyone. Maybe we run hot and keep things going. But appreciate you the support. Greg says the pod luck dulls the sim pros. I'm about it. Yeah, I mean, I hear that. I just think it's dialed up. The pod luck slider bar went too far, in my opinion. On real time, advancing 4 of 9 Superflex. That is awesome. I mean, I don't think I'm even advancing 4 of 30. Let me see. I mean, this is a transparent show. You guys know I'm nothing if not honest with you all. I will tell you, what was it? Was it the puppy but Superflex? I think is it puppy but Superflex. I'll switch. I know I'm not showing the right screen. I just have to decide. Oh, it was not. No, I put the pug but Superflex. All right. Okay. All right. I only did 16 teams. I don't know why I thought I did more. So I did 16 teams. So while on real time's advancing 4 of 9, I'm advancing 3 of 16. Not great. Not great. I wish it showed the date because I actually think that's highly relevant, because I imagine some of these teams that are advancing are like, I think I actually did okay when I drafted early. It was the teams I tried to take on later that did not do so well. But for some reason I have Spencer Rattler. I don't know what I'm doing. I had Jameis Winston on a team. Why do I only have 2 quarterbacks in the first 6 rounds and one's Tua? That doesn't seem great. This is my best team and it's ass. I've got Jaden Higgins on it. We got, Ray Davis. I don't know. I mean, I guess I see what I did. I went 1 quarterback and then I went double elite running back of CMC Taylor. So, and then, Bucky obviously is a little unfortunate. Anyway, Superflex, kind of an odd duck for me. I still don't think I'm fully there. So Hartman, GM to you. Appreciate you coming in, hanging out, Hartman. Thank you for the support. The Gale, Barkley or Gibbs first pick, Prime Time Palooza. I think Barkley. I'm advancing 15 of 50 puppy. That's awesome. I feel like the people that know Superflex have such an edge that they should play as much as possible. This is my best team and it's ass. That one hey, I'm telling you, I will be straight up. You guys know, if you watch this channel, I will do a draft and I'll say this team sucks. I'll do a draft. I'll say this team looks great. And I do not sugarcoat it. I am not a Pollyanna when it comes to my teams. I will tell you if I think they're not good. You did 16 and it felt like 50 because you don't enjoy it. Terrence, that's actually so true. I mean, I literally stopped doing them because probably or after 16 drafts, I was I would end the draft. I was I don't think this team is good. I don't think I know what I'm doing, and I'm spending 40 minutes on this team that is I'm not having that much fun. When the contest first opened, I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. It's fresh. It's new. And after a few drafts, I was like, okay, I'm actually in like way over my head with people that play more Superflex and understand the game better. So, all right, let me switch back to this tab. Let's see what the Dawg Bowl's at. I wonder if that one fired in the interim or not. Let's see, as the bum hunters rush in to scoop. I feel like that one filled was like go AZ cards being like, I gotta get him. I gotta get Chad. All right, we're waiting for 3. I'll hang out in here for for a second. We'll see if we can't get this one filled. Let me get the timestamps going because I do think that for those of you who watch back, I don't know if you enjoy the timestamps or if you don't care or if anyone actually watches these on replay. But BR1, what time are we at? 21. We'll put 30. Dawg Bowl 1. I'll just put Dawg Bowl. All right. Sweet. All right, so we're waiting for 3 in this Dawg Bowl. Let me see if we can't get anyone into this one. Send out the bat signal. DBQ waiting for 3. Oh, we're waiting for 1. All right, sweet. So this should fill pretty soon, and we're off. And we are off. Let's see what we get. All right. Oh, good. We got the 12. All right, we got the 12. This is a nightmare. Go AZ cards didn't even get into bum hunt. However, we do see the Gale. I see it in here at the 6. We got Tubins, famously won a seat week 1. We got Casey Pollock. I know they're in the Matic Discord. I can't remember their. I interact with them in the Discord and I see them here and I can't tie who it is. I can't remember who Casey Pollock is, but I know they're active in the Matic community. If you're in the chat, let me know because I do like to know who I am. And if I'm chatting you in Discord, I appreciate being able to talk and have some idea with who I'm talking to. But so we're in here at the 12. And if we look at the ADPs, you hit this like Judkins line. And I have definitely cooled a little bit on Judkins from the start of the week. I don't mind him, but I think it was rightly pointed out to me that their run defense is not as bad as maybe we remember. Sometimes these things from early in the year stick in our head more than they should. I know I was very focused on that Jets-Steelers game. It was the most fun game of week 1. It was also a game that I had stacked up in DFS, so I think actually my best DraftKings week that week because that no one was playing that game and that game went off. But I think the unfortunate side effect was me thinking that Pittsburgh's defense was bad, and I don't think they are. I think they are. The unit has gotten better. They're coming off a bye. We got the Browns flying back from London. So I don't know. I have some concern that it's not going to be quite as easy. That said, Judkins, he has consolidated all the work in the backfield. He is extremely talented. It only takes one. He has, explosive big play upside. He's got all the work. So I'm not saying to fade Judkins, but he's, it went from someone I was like, oh yeah, I'm really happy if I get him to like, okay, well, I'm glad I have a few shares in case he goes off. So we got the Gale. He takes Kyron at 6. Yeah, A-Chain slipping a couple of positions. Goes at pick 7. So far, all running backs with the exception of Puka, they're at the 2. I've seen Puka go at the 1. A lot of this in the Dawg Bowl, where Puka goes, depends on how the drafter feels about the running backs later versus the wide receivers later, because that is the trade-off. That is the main trade-off. The composition of the team can look quite different. Do you feel more confident in your scrolling running backs or your scrolling receivers? I do have some scrolling receivers running backs I like, but I will not pass on trying a little Dowdle Rashad White start. That feels pretty good. So, Rashad White, Dave works for ETR, super sharp drafter, smart guy. I saw him take White at 11 in a Dawg Bowl last night. So I think we could see White rising. I don't know if he'll rise into the first round, but this is the ADP of 15. That means sometimes maybe he can slip into the middle part of the second round. I'm wondering if by the end of the week, when it's official that Bucky's out, if we don't see White really kind of hang out more here, maybe again people start taking him in the first round because after White, if we look at the next running back, it's Derrick Henry. 2025 Derrick Henry is somebody that we're not playing with a great degree of confidence. I actually don't mind Henry this week, but I feel like it's if that game gets away from the Ravens, like a lot of us think it might, it's he doesn't play in those trailing game scripts. So, if the game is close and competitive, then absolutely late second round Derrick Henry is going to feel like Gen Wealth. I've taken a little bit of Henry in the Dawg Bowl in this spot in the middle of the draft, but Harmon asked, does Judkins go much higher if the 50-yard touchdown doesn't get called back? Yes. Well, much higher. Who's he? I mean, he went at 10 here. I don't think he goes much higher in the Dawg Bowl. People are into Genty, people are into JSN. He's not going to go ahead of A-Chain. Kyron's going to project like a god. So I think this, I think his ADP is 12. So maybe his ADP actually just goes to 10. That said, Hartman, I think he probably goes much higher in the 6 persons, where I think there's a few more receiver sandwich there. The 6-person drafts are definitely a different beast. So I think he probably would go higher in those. Where this is a very touchdown dependent format. Half PPR we play a very touchdown centric game. So I imagine Judkins would be going higher. So all right, so we see our first weird thing of the day. We got CMC, McBride, Ferguson. Okay, I will very rarely tell you what to do. I like to tell you what I do, talk to you guys, say maybe what I think you should do. I will just say, don't do this. This is bad. This is bad. McBride and Ferguson, this is so thin. It is so thin for 2 tight ends to get there. It's going to work once. It works maybe one person in the entire season this will work for. It's so thin. It's so thin in these contests, but it is going to have the effect of kind of mucking up some of the tight end stuff in this room. The one advantage of the 12 is you do get the first pick of the last round. So if I want a tight end, I'm not going to be completely frozen out, even if I push it all the way to my 5-6 turn pick. But something to note for those in other areas of the draft board. Interesting to see Tucker Kraft as the first tight end off the board. I think I've definitely seen people have their opinions on these 4. They kind of go in whatever order. McBride's number 1 by ADP, but it's close, and you will see any one of those 4 get taken first. So we've got Dowdle and White, and so now the question is, what do we want to do here? What do we want to do? And it gets somewhat interesting if we take a mid-round quarterback, or if we take a couple of receivers and try to push that. Because if we take a quarterback here, odds are it's going to be unstacked. I think I would do a Herbert Keenan, just add water, instant stack if that fell to me. I'm assuming it won't. In which case now I don't love Metcalf. I don't necessarily love MHJ. He's going to have Jacoby Brissett starting. I think we just do the Herbert Allen. It came to us. It's very simple. I don't hate doing Baker and White. I think you could absolutely do that and play that game environment. I'm just so bearish the Dolphins that I'm going to take Herbert in a receiver where possible. So we will just do that. It's, sometimes you don't need to overthink things too much. Fairly simple little construction there, shorting Miami. Hartman says he also gains a psychological advantage over the room by bullying them at tight end. Well, the asset, I mean, he's the first, he's picking first. He gets CMC. He gets a elite wide receiver who also has some rushing upside, and then he takes he takes arguably the two best tight ends of the week. And so, what are we, there is something to be said for that. We're cowering in fear of the asset. We simply do not know what he's going to do next, but we do know he can't take another running back because he has used his flex on that. So what is the Gale doing? The Gale is stacking Stafford with Kyron. I don't mind that. Stafford, we always said, or I said a lot over the summer, like Stafford somehow never gets there. Even in his eruption games, he doesn't seem to get there. Well, he finally did get there. He got there last week. He went absolutely nuclear. So Stroud, who also was supposed to never get there, got there against these same Ravens last week. I think some of the Ravens' defensive pieces might be getting closer to healthy. So maybe it won't quite be the same rollover. We saw Ravens' backs against the wall. They've really got to win or they dropped to 1-5. But if you are, capturing theoretically all the touchdown equity on the team between Kyron and Stafford, I think that's not a bad way to win these 12-person rooms. So I like what the Gale is doing. I do think it was a little anomalous, Kyron getting 2 passing touchdowns. I don't think you can count on that because that's not normally how it works. But you never know. Sometimes these things can be stickier than maybe we think. So that would be the sort of dream scenario for this team. In addition, he's got Diggs and Michael Carter. So Michael Carter kind of hangs out in this middle of the third round. In this next tier of running back, which you do see a wide range of ADPs. I've seen Chase Brown go in this range, and then I've seen Chase Brown slip all the way nearly into the 6th round before, depending on what people think of the Joe Flacco effect on the Bengals there. So the asset, he follows up his very interesting. He didn't get Warren of his cavalcade of tight ends, but he does take Daniel Jones, takes him unstacked here. He's got add Zay Flowers. I like these 2 picks. I think those are fine, especially when he's Dak goes earlier than that, and Kyler seems like he is truly questionable this week. So interesting teams going on in the room. I'm happy with the way this team has started. Tongas, Tubins takes Tongas. Had he come to me, I think Tongas actually would have been my pick over there at pick 60 as a little mini bring back to Rashad White. But I also do really like Tongas. I do like Tongas this week. So the Gale adds Njoku, another tight end I considered. So again, tight end, the sort of knockdown effects, maybe one of these 2 tight ends gets to me if this guy doesn't take 2. Kendre Miller, I have been taking Kendre Miller late in these contests. Kamara. Here, let me make my pick, and then we can talk a little bit more. We can talk a little bit more about that. So maybe we do Michael Mayer. All right, go AZ Cards. He's a guy that I have been somewhat interested in. He cleared concussion protocol, so he's fully back into the fold. Let's see who Days takes. Who Days takes. We're gonna take Mayer and a receiver. Who Days winds the clock. Hopefully he takes a quarterback, which is the wrong thing to do. No! That's who I wanted. I wanted Kendrick Bourne. I didn't even want to say it and put it into the universe because that was the pick I wanted. So Bourne, I really like taking him here because I think the other 2 guys are going to miss. So that's unfortunate because that was how I wanted to play this. So instead, instead, what do we want to do? I'm slightly oddly intrigued by T. Higgins with Flacco there. Last round T. Higgins could feel like generational wealth, especially now that they have a quarterback that should be able to do something. You know, I'm willing to see the vision on T. Higgins. I've never been a big T. Higgins guy. Kendrick Bourne is going to go very high if Jennings and Pearsall are out, and I think the coach said one of them was definitely out. Was it? I can't remember who he said was out. One of y'all might be able to help. Was it? I think it was Pearsall. Did he say Pearsall's probably going to miss? Yes, Shanahan added the 49ers are not counting on Pearsall being available. So it sounds like Pearsall is basically on the wrong side of questionable, much closer to doubtful. Jennings, he missed practice as well. I read the coach speak. I don't think he did not say the same thing about Jennings. So Jennings could still play, which would make the Kendrick Bourne pick not very good. But at the very least, one of the two dominoes for Kendrick Bourne being a potentially good play has fallen. So I've been taking Kendrick Bourne late in Dawg Bowls. I've even taken him in a couple of the main BRs. The thing about the Dawg Bowl is Kendrick Bourne probably will end up close to 100% ownership, because in a lot of these early contests, we're seeing Pearsall get taken. We're seeing Jennings get taken. If they're both out, people who have Bourne highly ranked in the Q tag are going to sub him in. So I think Bourne, while he is, seems like a late round, low owned guy, I think he's actually going to end up fairly high owned. Like this Jennings guy in a room where Bourne is not taken, would have gotten him. I think Bourne now is going to start getting taken more and more. I think the word is out, but I was trying to get some contests in yesterday with a cheeky Kendrick Bourne, with a cheeky Kendre Miller. You could type in Ken and both of them would show up. And I was like, oh, this is the universe saying to do this. And then I'd have them both in my queue. And by the time I was up, like only one would be left. So maybe it was the universe saying, don't get cocky, kid. But anyway, that's kind of two guys I've been targeting. Go Easy Cards mentioned Michael Mayer. That is a name, now that he cleared concussion protocol, I haven't found need to take him yet. But again, this room was a little wonky with this guy doing this. Again, Njoku, again, if we just kind of peer into the world that could have been, two tight ends went in the fifth, with this guy taking one of those people may have had one, and I would have gotten one of those players. I'm not saying it's bad or worse. It's just like the kind of sliding doors effect. You can see some of these minor decisions that this guy makes, affect something all the way over here. So fun draft. The Gale. Let me see who you ended up with. You took Shaheed. Yeah. I will never, ever fault anyone for taking Shaheed in a Dawg Bowl. He was actually one of my highest owned players last week. He was when the 1 p.m. games ended, I had a team in first and a team in third. The team that was in third had Shaheed on it. I think one of the teams that passed me had Shaheed on it. So Shaheed was a very good pick last week. And he's the only difference is last week I think he was like under 10, 15% owned. This week he's probably going to be about 50-ish, maybe on the higher side of 50% owned in these contests. But just supreme spike week guy, only needs 3-4 catches to hit your lineup potentially in one of these, and that's all you can really ask for some of these late round clicks. So I like the Shaheed click. I like the team you constructed there. The Gale, just take a quick look at what Tubins did. Taylor, Waddle, Ken Walker, the Jacoby Myers Industrial Complex yet again, pick 46, and then Tongas, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson playing the Q tag game here. He obviously will get a late swap if Lamar Jackson doesn't come in, but I think that's fine. Only one quarterback went after him, which was Sam Darnold. So depending on how many he's doing, depending on how many he's ranked, let's just see what this room, a Brock Purdy who might play, a Mac Jones, who one of these two. So, I mean, would you be mad ending up with just Mac Jones or Brock Purdy against Tampa? No, that sounds awesome. I would take that. I would take that unstacked. And so, worst case, he probably does get his Tonga stack. So again, Tubins, there's a reason he is was the week one winner. Very sharp drafter. Lamar Jackson makes a ton of sense to take as a free swap. Chris Burkle, Jam Candles. Thanks so much for coming in, Chris, hanging out. Let's keep it rolling here. I don't think anyone's coming on at 10, but if they are, let me know. Also, it's been 40 minutes and I have not asked. If you can please like and subscribe, that would be fantastic. I would really appreciate that. It helps keep this little stream rolling along. Means a ton to me to have all of you subscribing. We're on the road to 300. We're on the road to 250. We're just on the road. Wherever the road leads, we're going. And I'm happy to have you all as co-pilots, as passengers, as whatever you want to be doing on the bus. We're all hanging out. So appreciate you all hanging out and going where we are going. Shahid also bring back with Diggs. Yeah. I mean, and if you're playing that game to go off, it makes sense. Who was your quarterback again? Staffy. Okay, yeah, and you got the touchdown equity in for the Rams. So I like that, Miguel. Very very nice team you built there. Steven forgot to hit the like. Good to remind us. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to do. I forget too sometimes when I'm watching and hanging out. All right. Let's see. Let's hop into a main BR. You know what? Actually, no. All right, we'll do a main BR. I don't want to rug anyone that hopped in. So we'll do this, and then maybe let's check out the primetime slate. That could be fun to see what's going on. What's going on over there? So let me get the time stamp going. BR2. All right. So we're off and running here. And we got the 1. We got B Grandy at the 2. B Grandy, good to see you in the streets hanging out. Appreciate you. Dave M, I always forget in every stream. Badge Bros 2, good to remind us. Yeah. Well, it's easy to do. You're hanging out, you're chatting, you're enjoying it, and it's it's off on the left side of the screen. It's easy to miss. But appreciate you, Dave. Appreciate the like. The what with the thumbs up. Hey, the what. Thank you so much for coming in, hanging out. Appreciate you. Also, the fake B Grandy. Is that you? No, that's you, right? Is there really a fake B Grandy? Good God. Good God. Well, I hope there's not some kind of identity theft ring who is striking the Dawg Bowl streets. The Dawg Bowl streets I normally think are they're well lit and safe, but if we have fakes running around, then we could turn into some kind of like dark Gotham City thing. Let's just take Christian McCaffrey here at the 101. That seems like fun. Again, I feel like if for my single entry, if I got the 101, I might take Puka because I like a lot of the scrolly, or not even that far scrolly running backs. And you can also, at this point in the world, you can still get Genty sometimes at the 12. His ADP is 10. Sort of depends. So if you can go Puka Genty, like that's pretty nice. Obviously, you can much more likely to get that from the 3 than you are from the 1. But if I had a single entry and I could just like put my players in, that's how I would construct it. But yeah, this DJ Fisherman guy gets sort of my dream start. That's okay. And now we got to decide what to do. So let's do a Fergie. And then let's scroll a hair. Let's omit this range. Let's go straight to Fergie Waddle. And maybe we can see about a Chargers. Maybe we try to then plan to do something like Ladd and Herbert. You don't have to bring back Waddle. That's completely unnecessary. We could totally go another direction. I think bringbacks can be overrated in the 6 persons, but maybe we do project that game for a little bit of a shootout. So we'll take the plunge if it comes back to us. You never know. Dak goes very early in drafts this week. I don't fully understand why Dak goes as early as he does. Carolina's defense is not like atrocious. I know we're excited about Dallas, but I do think it's odd he goes that early, and he very frequently is going unstacked. I don't quite get it, but Maybe it's because we don't have elite quarterback on this slate. Like, it's Herbert is the next highest ADP. Lamar Jackson, I think he is closer to doubtful than questionable. And so then at that point, it's all pocket passers. But I don't know. I don't know that I feel like Dak is that much better than some of the other options here. So we'll see. Oh, oh yeah, Bieber Gandy over at the 6th. My God. And so instead of liking, instead of being into Dragon Ball Z like B Grandy, we have someone who's into Justin Bieber. I guess that's what's going on. So, all right, that's how we'll play it. We'll do Herbert and then we'll take Dowdle. I'm pretty into Rico Dowdle. So let's do Herbert and then Dowdle. And then we'll take one of the Charger receivers, whether that's QJ, Ladd, or Keenan Allen. I would be very surprised if all three go. Usually one of them will last. I mean, if not, it's fine. I don't mind unstacked Herbert. They don't have what we call a running back on that team. So I think, they're going to be throwing a ton. Herbert might have to use his legs more. Justin Bieber, Gandy, he ends with Kraft and Drake May. So the Drake May unstack. People watching, they see Pete take Drake May unstack. They say, I want to be like Pete. They don't take Jordan Love with Tucker Kraft. Interesting choice there. But the QB, like everything got kind of scrambled here. It's kind of funny. Like Hot Z Sauce took Dak from the Pickens guy. Fake Bieber took Drake May from the Diggs guy who had the Baker taken or passed on Baker. Anyway, kind of a weird mix up. Nobody cares. I'm going to just take Ladd ahead of QJ. I feel like this is where you like lose the dog or the contest because you just didn't take like QJ, who's such a smash. Who'd we get? Who'd we get? We got Ladd. Okay, that's fine. We let the fates decide. The gods have spoken. We took Ladd. I would not hate building this exact team if I could, and then just swapping QJ with Ladd. Truly, I really like this shell. Herbert, CMC, Dowdle, Waddle, Ladd, and Ferguson feels very good. One of these two players is going to be better, Ladd or QJ. Who it is, I can't say I have any great conviction. But we took the Ladd side of things. Let's see what the real B Grandy did. He took Taylor, Kyron, Tet, Waller, Metcalf, and Bryce Young. Yeah, like the team. Think it's pretty good. Bryce Young, if he eventually's got to get there, he's eventually got to get there. If he doesn't get there against the Cowboys, I'm worried we're going to start hearing Andy Dalton drum beats. Andy Dalton might be better for Tet McMillan than Bryce Young, but I also have very large Bryce Young BBM shares. So I hope Bryce Young turns it around. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, B Grandy, I like the team. I haven't been taking much Metcalf. Maybe I should take a little bit of him. He's been pretty good coming off a bye. They're I think they're favored in that game. So we shall see. Hartman asking, is Coker going to drop 20 plus points in his first week back? Man, he came back to full practice is what I heard. So a full practice, no restriction. Where is Coker? Does he even? Yeah, he's a scroll. He's projected for 0 still. ADP of 36, I think means he's been taken like once, something like that. Logs a full practice. Yeah, no information from here. But yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. We'll see what his like participation is, versus some of the other pieces, we get mostly. Yeah, I don't think I'll get to him this week, but I don't know. I mean, they are playing Dallas, who is so beatable through the air that it's like I want to be early. I'm worried this is too early. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking myself into Coker. So let's see. On real time helps out the thought process. When Coker gets back, Bryce will be good. Coker is the wide receiver one. I mean, Coker earned so many targets last year. He's a good player. I guess on real time, my fear is not Coker's ability. It is what the coaching staff does, how much he's out there, how healthy he is. If he really is full practice, no restrictions all week, um, then maybe he's on the field 75+% of the time, and then I think is a worthy scroll in these contests. I'm just afraid that he plays like 30% of the snaps. I just don't know. Maybe we'll get if we get more of a sense. And they say he's just gonna like be out there. Then I will absolutely start taking him. Every morning, a cokehead makes more and more justification. Yeah, that is one thing we can rely on. We can rely on them saying that it's yeah, and you know what, like a true cokehead, it's not their fault. It's the coaching staff. If this doesn't work out, well, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I didn't do anything wrong. It was somebody else. Liggett might never leave the bench again, to be honest. Yeah, I mean he had the touchdown of his life last game, maybe because he knows Coker's coming. So he's like, I don't make a highlight reel catch here, I'm literally never going to play football again. All right, let's do a let me see what the primetime hurry up is. And yes, it's the $3 contest. That I like the $3 price point for these. So if anyone wants to hop on in. Let me do a time stamp here. That was a fun draft there. B Grandy, thanks for doing that one. All right. Prime time hurry up. All right, sweet. So we're at the 2. Let's check it out. I think I did like one of these, but the Coke is real. Yeah, I mean, Coker is I like Coker. I have plenty of him in like BBM. So all right, we got Lutz in here. Cool. So we do have some friends in the room. Boy. Gibbs against Kansas City. So first of all, we've got 3 games on this. We got Detroit, Kansas City, Philly at the Giants, and Denver at New York. So we got 3 teams. Next thing to check is the tight end situation. We got 4 people in the room. So we got Laporta, Kelsey, Goddard, Mason Taylor, Theo Johnson, Evan Ingram. So if someone goes double tight end, that means somebody's going to end up with Theo or Ingram. I think that's fine. I think you live with that. Wide receiver, just my eyeballs are telling me it drops off a cliff after Wandale. Thornton was way more involved than I thought he would remain. I guess way more. He got 5 targets. It felt like 15. But he just had some big plays. He's obviously still clickable. Hollywood Brown is just annoying. Wow, Amon-Ra goes first. Man. It's like, do I just take Gibbs or do I... No, I'm not an integrity protector. If I think Saquon's better than Gibbs, I'm going to take it as such. D. Dameron gets gifted. Sorry, Lutz, that's not you. So D. Dameron might get some combos that are harder to get with Amon-Ra going as the number 1. But you know what? We looked at the wide receivers, and I don't hate taking Amon-Ra 1. By the time it gets back to him, it's going to be a grease fire at wide receiver. Hulk Smashed Potatoes GM. Hey, thanks for coming in, hanging out. Appreciate you. Appreciate the support. We're trying to draft a primetime hurry up. Primetime hurry up. Might run a couple of these. I like this. I like the 3-game primetime slates more than the 2s. I think they're a little more fun versus just like praying you get the nutted combination. It makes it a little less volume dependent. So, all right. Garrett Wilson against Denver. That seems tough. Cortland Sutton, Xavier Worthy against Detroit. Let's take Worthy and maybe, I was going to say, and then take Mahomes, but I almost feel like I need another one of these receivers. Sutton, Wilson. Let's take Devonta. I'm going to skip those guys and take Devonta Smith. And we're just going to play Philly to kind of smoke the Jets here on this, or excuse me, the Giants on this slate. And we might still be able to get Mahomes, kind of depending on what the other guys do. Like this D. Dameron guy, he's got Dobbins and Sutton, so he might be angling more towards a Bo Nix build. I would be a little actually surprised if he took Mahomes there. I actually, not just selfishly, I think that would be kind of a bad I think that'd be kind of a bad click for him at this point. But hey, people can do what they want. I don't think I would do that myself. I could also, if D Damron does not take Mahomes, I could take JMO and then I could take either Goff or JMO. So I think we're going to angle to do that. He takes Laporta. So I'm going to add JMO. We're going to buy the Dipperino, go 3 wide receiver, and then we're going to queue up Mahomes and queue up Goff. Now, if Prada passes on quarterback, I think I take a tight end here because okay, he does not. So we're just going to take Goff. All right. I am pretty sure he'd take Knicks, but being that Gibbs does catch passes, I'm just going to take Goff, and I'm just as okay with Mason Taylor as Dallas Goedert, I think. So we can do that, or maybe even Theo Johnson. Maybe we take the next step down because we do have Saquon and Devonta. So maybe we do a little Theo Johnson mini scroll as the next kind of man down. It does seem like um, Dart really likes him. So let's end the team with that. I don't think Ingram's better. I mean, Mason Taylor's wow, 12 targets for Mason Taylor. Um, Denver good pass defense, but I think they're not quite as suffocating to two tight ends. But let's just take the Theo Johnson side of thing. I think that's fine. So this team ends up being Goff, Saquon, Worthy, Devonta, JMO, and Theo Johnson. I do too, RM covers. I think this team is fantastic. For a primetime Palooza team, I think this team is good. Like I really think this team came out as well as I really could have hoped. The Gale asking, we're not, and secondly, RM covers. Thank you so much for the support and coming in and hanging out. Appreciate you so much. The Gale, we're not concerned about Amon-Ra wrist injury. I know he has a wrist injury. He cropped up on the injury report, but I could not tell you the severity. I'm assuming it's not because I was terminally online yesterday and listening to everyone's stream and nobody talked about it like in a serious way. So I'm just assuming it's a nothing burger. But yeah, I don't know. It's something to keep an eye on. But it seems like it kind of came up out of nowhere. So for now, I'm not worried. But you know me, I am always down to get a little worried. If Sun God suits up, then he's good to go. Yeah. Oh, if he's playing for sure. Pass on Scatabo. Who are you? Go AZ Cards. I don't know. But I this wide receiver room, Worthy, Smith, and JMO with Saquon. That's pretty good. And I can't even I don't even know how to tell you. I think Tyrone Tracy going undrafted is pretty nice. Like I will be taking, if I do a lot of these, I will definitely end up with some Tyrone Tracy because he's going to be involved and he could, break a long run, or he could, if they revert to how things looked before the Tracy shoulder injury. Tracy got the first carries. Tracy had like 9 touches in the first 12 plays or something crazy. Like he was hyper involved. And if it reverts to that, then Tracy as a freebie in the primetime Palooza is going to be nuts. So I would absolutely be taking some Tracy. Still a huge scatter bull, but I'm also not blind to to usage. The Gale noting this PTP could be a double tight end type kind of slate. Yeah, it could. I mean, let's look at the board. I would prefer. Let's see who got drafted. You'd prefer a second tight end over, and I immediately see Thornton and Franklin. I would be fine taking a tight end over those two. I also see a world where Franklin or Thornton are big play guys who could go nuke. So I don't think it's wrong, but yeah, it definitely could be a It definitely could be a double tight end slate. I think that's fine. I think the issue is that we always think double tight end is like sharp in these primetime paloozas, and then like people do it like kind of a lot. I'd be interested if someone who was good with numbers like said how often it was done. I can't remember if that was if they mentioned that in the masterclass section. They have a section on the primetime slates. I cannot recall if they talked about how often people do double tight end, but there are definitely some slates that lend themselves to it more or not. But yeah, I mean Mason Taylor and Evan Ingram are good players, and we're not rostering them. Don't roster Kylan Granson, please. All right. Hartman noting none of those wide receivers are better. Well, I mean, obviously not Hartman. Obviously not. Where did Scatabo go? He went at pick 8. I mean, so the only one I could have taken him over was Xavier Worthy. But I probably would have taken Scatabo over JMO, but man, I don't know. I like JMO. I like the JMO bounce back. Eventually, we're going to get one of those slate breaking JMO weeks. The Gale with Tracy back, how much work will Scatabo go? That's the question, the Gale. I think he's still going to be the lead back. I think that had been the plan from the way the talk had been. The only issue is the talk sounded like he was going to be the lead back, and then when the chips were down, they were giving Tracy those carries in the game before Tracy got hurt. So I don't know. I mean, we're all just guessing, right? Like that's the thing. Like I don't think we have good insight into how it's going to break down. Scatabo was good. I think he was fine, but it wasn't like he played so well that he's unsplittable. Like I think he did everything. I think watching him, it was like kind of exactly what we expected. Run super hard, willing to run through contract, super willing blocker, does everything you want. But didn't have any huge runs, got stuffed on the goal line a couple times, had a fumble. Like there were some up and down. But remember, he's also a rookie. Like he's a rookie. Like you're gonna have these growing pains. So I think he kind of did what was expected. So we'll see. We will see. Tyrone Tracy is going to have the same thing happen as Singletary did last year. Never took the work back over an injury. Yeah, it's quite possible. It's quite possible, but I do think Tyrone Tracy has a little more juice than Singletary does. I also wonder if the Giants would be willing to move Singletary. There's a lot of running back hungry teams, and Singletary is kind of the consummate guy who can get the job done. But I think Dable likes Singletary, so I'd be surprised if they traded him. I think he would prefer to have all three. But you never know if someone desperate team offers like a high draft pick or not high, but something, and they're looking to the future. But the other thing is when coaches are fighting for their jobs, they're not really, too keen to sell off. Like I don't know if the GM's on the hot seat. I'm not too in the weeds with the Giants to know. I know people are calling for Dayball's head. I don't know if they're calling for the whole, top to bottom. Because again, if you're on the hot seat, the last thing you want to be doing is trading players for future picks that someone else gets to take advantage of while you lose your job. Chris says, "Is if Amon-Ra is hurt JMO to the moon or Laporta?" I mean, I hope it's JMO to the moon. If it's not JMO to the moon, our JMO bags are in trouble. Stronger finish this year, QJ or Scatabo? Scatabo, 100%. I don't even know what to add. I like QJ, but I think that as the year goes on, we're going to like what we see there. All right, let's see what let's shift. You know what? Let's do one more. Let's try to do one more primetime hurry up. Let's see where we're at, because that was kind of fun. And then is it just the hurry up or is it primetime hurry up? Primetime hurry up. All right. All right, let's try to do one more hurry up here. Waiting for 2. Waiting for 1. All right. And then maybe we can get another DBQ in and see what's going on. All right, 1. I'm doing the timestamps here. Davis is so much better at doing this. He can type and still interact with people, and I just don't know how. I'm like, prime time, hurry up 2. All right. Sweet. We've got the timestamps going. We're off and running. We pulled the 2 hole again. All right. Well, probably end up with another Saquon team. I think that's fine. What does it say here in the DNP due to wrist injury? Yeah, again, it is weird because like you're allowed to just say veteran rest, I think, and rest a guy, but some teams like just come up with phantom injuries and that just like disappear. So I don't know. I mean, I'm on Rock and miss Wednesday practice. He's kind of, I think he'll be okay. But yeah, I don't know. So it's a little concerning. All right, let me get a little. We're really gonna lock in. We'll get the night driving going. It's gonna garble the mic for a second. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. Yes, Chris notes practice makes perfect candles. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, I don't think anyone is coming on at 10. Uh, I know. I feel like Thursdays. We get a. All right, we'll take a Gibbs share. We'll take Gibbs here. All right. Yeah, Davis is on at 12:30. So I don't think Pete comes on till the bash. Or no, before then. Pete comes on at 1:30 with shady advice. Oh man, okay. Definitely watch that because that is appointment viewing there. Shady advice, very, very sharp drafter with Brick 75, one of the legends of the DFS space. So good stuff coming on in the afternoon today across the streaming world here. So we got Gibbs, Lutz is in this room. Again, he's got Amon Ra at the 3. I do think there will be panic in the streets if Amon Ra misses the next practice, but it does seem like if he got hurt in game, we would have known, and I don't think that happened. He missed practice entirely, so it didn't happen at practice. I'm a little perplexed by this wrist thing, which has me thinking it's just like fake veteran resty sort of stuff. All right, so let's see what we get here. Kind of similar to the last time, one running back. Let's see what Lutz does if he takes a receiver here or goes in a different direction. I was going to say, wouldn't mind a Jalen Hurts team. Wouldn't mind ending up with a Jalen Hurts team, but let's do AJ Brown. I think the squeaky wheel narrative is gotta be getting close. I know they threw a ton. It felt like Devonta Smith was the bigger beneficiary. He had like 11 targets, I think, 10 targets. We'll see if again, it does seem like they could beat the Giants however they wish. I know there was some kind of like closed door meeting between some of the teammates there, so kind of an odd situation, but yeah. I'm deciding if I want Garrett Wilson. I'm not going to be scared of Surtain. That's fine. We'll take Garrett Wilson. We'll just go for volume there. We'll see if we get Scatabo. It's going to depend on Lutz. If Lutz takes Scatabo, because Trey Bez can't take a running back. If Lutz takes Scatabo, I think we'll do JMO. Of course, Trey Bezzy needs receivers, so odds are JMO is not going to be here. If JMO is gone, then we can decide if we want to get really weird and do like Montgomery and Gibbs. I don't mind doing Montgomery and Gibbs most of the time. I just don't love it against Kansas City. Kansas City's got a fairly decent run defense. But I do think on these primetime slates, it's when you have Detroit on them, people don't take both Gibbs and Monty enough. And you definitely were going to have slates where that gets home, and it's not done. I don't think it's done in relation to how frequently it can get there. So I just this of all weeks makes me a little queasy to do it, but you never know. You never know. It could work this week. It could get there. Go AZ Card says, goal 1, 200 subs, goal 2, Dawg Bowl ticket, need to set the next goal at BBM winner. Oh my God. Yeah, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? I'm going to take JMO here because they're, we'll go 3 wide. We'll go Gibbs, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams on this team. And build a very similar team to last team, except we've got Garrett Wilson and AJ Brown instead of Worthy and Devonta. So similar. I guess this is not like that team at all. The only similarity is I have Jameson Williams. I don't even know why I said that. Just utter nonsense. But anyway, I got 4 people on the team. Last time through 4 rounds, I also had 4 people. But yeah, go AZ Cards. I mean, my God, winning the BBM, that would be absolutely nuts. At this point, I would just take a BBM finals team. I would be so thrilled to get a team to the finals here. But yeah, that's why we play. That is the ultimate goal in all of this, in this whole pursuit here. I think no, I don't need Goff. All right, let's just take Goddard then. All right, well, this was a very paint by numbers team. I took Goddard first because these guys don't need quarterbacks, for those of you wondering. So this team's going to end up being Gibbs, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, Goddard, and Goff. So somehow we have no Kansas City Chiefs as bringbacks to Detroit. Feels not great. You don't need bringbacks. But I don't really know what games. I don't really know what story this lineup's telling. It feels like an uncorrelated 5-leg parlay, but yeah, it is a primetime slate. Wonky things can happen, But the sim in my head is telling me this is not going to sim well, just because it feels slightly helter skelter. I do think Kansas City is going to score points against the Chiefs. So I probably want some Kansas City on there. I mean, that said, they could score points, but Garrett Wilson could go off, and AJ Brown and Goddard have good games, etc. But it starts to feels not like the most well constructed team I've ever amassed. Whereas the last team I liked quite a bit more. So all right, this team is going to end with Goff. I can put this team on autopilot and hop over to let's see what the DBQ is. Let's see what the DBQ is at. Waiting for 3. All right, cool. We will hang out and get that one filled. I'm going to do the timestamp 1:13:30 or 15. Dawg Bowl 2. All right, and we're off. We are off. We are starting, and we are in the 8 hole. All right. Oh no, I like the 7 hole more, because if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, okay. Genty is 8. All right, sweet. I thought for some reason, Genty was at 7. So I'm happy with this top 8 quite a bit, and you almost see the market agree. Like it goes to the full decimal point. It goes from 7.8 to 9.1, which I think shows a little less fluidity than some of the other times, like Puka and Jonathan Taylor. You got 2.1 to 2.7, and then there's an obvious break to 4.1, and then an even bigger break to 5.4. Like I'm explaining this absolutely abysmally, but you can sometimes tell you can see cutoffs, tier breaks, if you will. That's what they typically call them, in how people are drafting based on how close the ADPs are of, Josh Jacobs is ADP 4, A-Chain's ADP 5, but, Jacobs is 4.1, A-Chain is 5.4, meaning, Jacobs is drafted 4 or better more frequently than A-Chain is drafted 5 or better, I think. That's what I'm trying to say. Again, you guys feel me. So long story short, We will get one of these top 8 picks there. Whether it's JSN, Javante, or Genty, I think we're going to be happy with it. We see Go AZ Cards. He got the 2-hole because everything goes his way, and the RNG gods love him. That's fine. I'm happy for him. So he gets the 2-hole. We got Tubins at the 10, so he's definitely running through quite a few of these. I don't recognize a ton of these names, so let me know if there's anyone to keep an eye on. The asset, he was in the last draft, kind of the wild card, took double elite tight end. We'll see if he does anything weird over in this one. Go AZ Cards, had to leave for a minute. Did you get Meyer in your first? I did. I got him in the, I took him exactly where you did, Go AZ Cards. I was in the 12th hole, and I took Michael Mayer in that draft. But he's someone I had been thinking about mixing in. And so again, with the way tight end fell in that room, that was the direction that I took things. So I would prefer Genty to Javante, and we get Genty. So the first 8 picks predictably go exactly how we laid out. Is it Drap or D-Rap? Either way, I'm going to go with D-Rap. GM, first time viewing. D-Rap, thank you so much for coming in, hanging out. Appreciate you. Appreciate the support. And I see you at the 4-hole. So good luck. Good luck in here. Love Josh Jacobs. Talking about him yesterday, feel like, there's not much of a drop off between him and CMC and Taylor this week in half-point PPR to me. I think that matchup with Cincinnati is an absolute smash. So I love getting the first 4 picks. I think there's definitely a tier break there. So Josh Jacobs, if I saw someone take Jacobs at the 1.1, I would not bat an eye. I think Jacobs is phenomenal. I'm not breaking ground saying Jacobs is phenomenal this week, but I'm very into that pick. I'm happy with leaving any draft with him there. Fantasy Dog, number 21, morning, Chad, Candles, Hartman, Go AZ Cards. Hey, Fantasy Dog, thanks for coming in, hanging out. Appreciate you. Appreciate the like. Appreciate the subtle reminder to all the others to drop a like, drop a sub. Thank you, Fantasy Dog, for doing that. All right, so we got Genty here, and we are now at the point of the draft where running back is a little wonky. It's a little wonky. Do we want to take Derrick Henry? I don't have very much Devontae Adams in the Dawg Bowl. For me, it's a question, do I want Devontae Adams or take a shot on a tight end? I'll take a Devontae Adams share here. He's just been so steady, so good. He opens up Stafford as a potential option. We'll take that. He really does seem to be such a go-to red zone target that I am fine with an Adams share here, and we don't lock up both running back spots if we want to take one of our later running back options there. So we go Genty, Adams, Tubins. He goes Egbuka, White. I actually built a team last night going Egbuka, White. Ended up with Baker. I think it was Bourne. It was one of those just game stacks, and it felt quite nice. So I wonder if we're going to see Tubins try to do something like that, because Baker goes later than you would think. He goes at pick 42. I don't fully understand why Dak goes 10 full picks ahead of Baker, but he does. So, Tubins at 39 is in prime position to build out that stack if he chooses. But yeah, I like Egbuka White teams. I think we could look back and see, sometimes you have positions on the draft board. Last week, Egbuka JSN made a natural game stack, and then you could bring back with Baker, and that was a absolute smash. And it was totally the answer on this side of the board to the Josh Jacobs, actually not Josh Jacobs, to the Taylor side of the world, where if you had Taylor at the 1, you started out with a smash. If you started with Egbuka JSN, you started with a smash. So you could build from either side of the board some really good teams. I wonder if Egbuka White, if Tampa goes off, could look something like that this week. Morning says Go AZ Cards. I don't mind the back end. Feels like your team is overall stronger. Just need the top 4 to not break the slate. Yeah, I don't mind the back end of drafts this week. I think it's I think it's pretty good. And like you said, the ending of your team feels pretty good. The only thing I will say is there are so many Q tag games you can play that I think you can, I think it's the Badge Bros that says it, but it's such a sharp expression. I'll use it. Stay on the clock by taking these Q tag guys, and you can end your drafts in these front side of it with, you can do it at almost any position. You can do it with, especially wide receiver, mostly the Niner receivers, but you can also do it with Purdy, and you could also do it with Lamar Jackson. And if either of them play, you're thrilled because you're getting them at a deep discount. And if they don't play, well, you were already picking last anyway, so you're not losing that much, right? You're just going to get like the next man up. So I think this is a fun slate. I said I was going to do fewer this slate, but I actually like the slate. I think it's really good. Like, there have been slates last week. I was a little more lukewarm on it. I mean, I got, obviously I got there. The slate before I didn't like. So it's, I don't know. This is a really fun slate. This is a really fun slate. I would absolutely love to get Tucker Kraft, but I'm probably not going to get Tucker Kraft. It sort of depends. Master M. I mean, yeah, I was going to say he's probably going to take one. I don't have any Michael Carter yet. If he comes to me, that's a little bit interesting. I'm just deciding what the heck I want to do here. Again, I missed the bus. I missed the bus on the good tight ends on those first four. I mean, Ken Walker against Jacksonville is very intriguing. I don't think I have him yet. He's not my favorite because he does split with Sharps, and it's a little bit annoying. But that was kind of a big emotional win for Jacksonville against the Chiefs. ADP value is so rare in the Dawg Bowl. I'm just gonna scoop it. I'll just take Walker here. He's again not a guy I'm actively trying to get, but I'm not going to ignore him this far past ADP. I got a little bit of a discount on Adams. I got a little bit of a discount on Walker. So we'll just go with that. We'll go with that. Let's see what Tubins does. I imagine he's going to take someone and then push Baker, but we'll see. Yeah, Henry I think is a nice pick if you want to consider him as the extension of this next tier. He's definitely, I think he normally goes a little later than this, but I'll be stunned if I don't see Baker come off the board here. Oh, Drake May. I'm stunned. I said I'd be stunned. I'm stunned. But, he could not pass up on the instant stack there. So, very, very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. All right, so we've got Genty. Oh, man. I wonder how many people know what's going through my head right now. It's so gross. I don't even think I want to scroll there. But do we just do Genty Myers? I feel like some people are Interstellar yelling no. Some people are saying this is kind of cool. I mean, I could do. Let's do it. Let's try to relive the magic. We'll see if we can get 2 Dawg Bowl seats with Jakobi Meyers. But yeah, I mean, let's bet on Las Vegas at home. Bad defense. Everyone's kind of down on the Geno Smith experience. He's going to project like a god again. I do like Zay Flowers. I think if I wanted to do Flowers and Adams, and then kind of hope we get Staffy back, it would be 10 picks past ADP. Nobody has a quarterback. Kind of weird. 0 people have a quarterback on the left side of the board, and he is the 4th quarterback up, 3rd quarterback down. So he might or might not come back. So anyway, interesting decision for me there. We might actually have Stafford come back to us anyway, to be perfectly honest, because sometimes you see the Kyron guy take Stafford, and I think we saw Go AZ Cards do that the last draft. Or was it? Sorry, apologies, Go AZ Cards, if I'm making that up. I can't remember that was you. But either way, we could potentially do that, or we could just stick to the plan and take Geno. Now, what I'm realizing is all four people to my right have quarterbacks. So we're going to take a tight end at pick 56, just so we know. So, I mean, we could look really cool if we got Stafford at pick 65, and people would be like, pick 65 Stafford, but it's kind of like a fake pick 65 because we know we can push him. But anyway, we will see. Jordan is Interstellar yelling like, Geno's broken. No, don't do it. Don't do it. We will see. We'll see what we do here. Fantasy Dog, if any of y'all that aren't subscribed, please help my man. Hey, Fantasy Dog, I appreciate you. Appreciate that so much. Yeah, I mean, just trying to grow the sub numbers, but just, whatever we get, I'm happy to hang out. I'm happy to do these drafts with you. This is fun. Yeah, but I appreciate you, Fantasy Dog. Appreciate the shout. And yeah, I agree. If you haven't subbed, please hit that sub button. It's free, but it helps me out here. All right, let's start looking at tight end, because these three have tight ends, so we should be able to get somebody. I don't think we want to go Michael Mayer and triple stack Geno Smith. I think if we do that, we've jumped the proverbial shark. I think we just take Geno here. I mean, sorry, not Geno. I think we just take Njoku here. I'm just thinking to myself, I like some of these. I mean, I like some of these other guys. The Taysom Hill experience is kind of fun, but I don't want to ignore. I don't want to ignore what we saw from Njoku. 9 targets from Dylan Gabriel. Does seem like he's got the rapport. And I didn't just steal that from the note, by the way. I thought of rapport of my own word before Underdog used it too. But yeah, let's do Njoku, and let's do Stafford. Let's do Stafford. Stafford will fall to me at pick 65. So, yeah, we'll do Stafford, Adams. Genti. We're not reliant on Geno to Genti being a thing, although that definitely could get us there. Let's see if this Stafford hot streak continues. But yeah, it'll be cool. We'll get a pick 65, Matt Stafford. Let's see. Lou Dog was suggesting Taysom. I don't mind the Taysom shout whatsoever. I think that's I think that's someone we should mix in. I'm not opposed to that. Hunter Long, man, that's a deep cut there. Obviously, Brenton Strange is out, so a name I have not even considered. So let's take our guy Stafford here. So this team ends up being Stafford, Genti, Ken Walker, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, and David Njoku. Let's see what our friends and family have done. We'll check in on Tubin's, very smart player here. He goes Igbuka, White, Henry, May, and Jennings, Kendra Miller. Kendra Miller, I've been mixing him in late. I think if Tubin's is doing it, if Kamara misses, Kendra Miller is a smash. And if Kamara plays, Kendra Miller, I think he had like 10 carries last week. Like, that's number is probably trending up. And I am into the Kendra Miller experiment. Let's check in on Go AZ Cards. What's he up to? He's got Puka, Warren, Pittman, Jones. So he goes with the Jones double stack. Ramondre, another click I've been making. We all want it to be Travion, but I think it's Ramondre, sadly. So I like this pick. He's going to end his team with either a running back or a receiver. Let's see what he does. He takes Calvin Ridley. Love the Calvin Ridley click. I've been taking plenty of him. He obviously would have fit on my team as a Vegas bring back there, but we did get the Ken Walker fall, so that didn't end up coming together. But I like the Ridley team. I like the team Go AZ Cards constructed. Not even interesting. I think that's a good team there. Hartman says that Chad is one of the few that can say he's actually giving alpha since he won. Well, I appreciate that. I just like I love bouncing the ideas off of you, and I will try to share. I will try to share alpha when I've got it there. Fantasy Dog, I was watching with Huhames last night. Did you win an underdog tourney with Myers? My Dawg Bowl seat, I had Myers and his 5.2 points. so that is what happened. It was he he was not a great click, but we got home despite him. So we're trying to run it back this one. Hey, Lutz, GM to you. We were in a couple drafts together. Not sure if you were in the room, but appreciate you coming by with the support. Fantasy Dog saying morning. Hartman saying morning back. Chris Burkle says nothing wrong with winning twice. Yeah, another seat would be pretty cool. Go Easy Cards. Need to work on getting my interesting status back, or I just wait for week 14 for. Yeah, we'll be in the room, and I'll just be like, interesting pick there. Some would say you won because of Myers. Those 5 points were critical. To be fair to Jacoby Myers, he was out there on that last drive when it was hopelessly lost and went from like 1.1 points up to 5.2. So if he did not gut it out through the garbagest of garbage time, we would not have won. That is 100% true, because I did get my seat by 0.1 points. So, yeah, you could definitely argue that Jacoby Myers was who you needed. So fun draft. Appreciate doing the Dawg Bowl there with you. Let's rip another BR or two. If people want the primetime stuff, let me know. I can do it. I feel like more people like the main BRs than the primetime, but I'm happy to do either. I'm easily swayed, but we're in a regular old BR. Let me get the timestamp going. But yeah, that was a fun draft. I like the teams that I saw all of us building there. All right, 50 BR3, and we're off. Oh, we got Easy in the room. Easy produces the Easy Sheets, easydfs.xyz. A very sharp player, Easy. And we got Hartman in the draft here. I don't know if Easy's watching, but if you are, Easy, hello. Hartman, appreciate you coming in, drafting in here. I like all your money. Also going with the gold background. Well, actually, there's 2 shades of gold. I know Herzig famously uses one of those, but you know, I had to stick with the German Shepherd and the red. It's what I'm used to looking. I tried changing it once and it kind of freaked me out. So I'm sticking with the red. If you see me in there, but sometimes if the red feels like you're trying a little too hard, but we're gonna stick with it. I've thought of for the depths, the doldrums, you know, for like a real April video of doing like what your avatar says about you is like a fun video, and I want to do like what your dog breed and the color, and I think that would be funny. Nobody steal my video idea. People who change the color can't be trusted. Yeah, I'm like, no, I have it's like the sorting hat, like you've chosen and that's it. Chris Burkle says fourth quarter points are worth just as much as first quarter points. LFG, yeah. I mean, tell that to the Justin Fields haters. They are still coping and seething as he gets away with it every time. All right, we'll do. You know, let's just grab Genty here. And if we don't get JSN, that's fine. I kind of want to build out I think I want to build out a team starting with Genty and foregoing the top 7. We'll see how it goes. If JSN comes back, I think I'll probably just take JSN. But yeah, JSN came back. I mean, now I just like drafted the players in a different order. I was thinking of going Genty, Egbuka. I'll just take JSN. That's fine. All right. So we all we did was flip the order. We didn't like actually functionally do anything in this draft. I'll pull up the board so people can see what's going on. I'm also going to blow my nose because I can't breathe yet again. But hold on. You all should be used to this by now. All right. Dear God. Yeah, I've had a never-ending cold. My son brings back new germs every day. But we soldier on. Oh my God. Naveed, thank you for coming in. Stick with it, says Naveed. I appreciate you, Naveed. I'm glad you tuned in for me to be blowing my nose. That is truly the Chad Candles experience in a nutshell. Thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate you dropping in. Don't forget to hit the like, hit the sub. What a dream team, he says. My goodness. Well, I mean, anytime you can start with Genty, JSN, you simply got to do it. Go AZ Cards. Will stacked or unstacked QB win this week? VR and DBQ. The lazy answer is I think stacked will win because there's going to be a lot more teams stacking, so you just have like higher odds. But I think an unstacked team is live to win both. I also feel like unstacked QB is starting to become more socially acceptable in this. You know, last year, Nerdy Tenor came out and said that unstacked QB was underdone in BRs, and no one really listened. I think it's people are starting to listen, especially after the Mahomes unstacked got home last week. So we got Genty JSN. I think I can push tight end. The question is what do I want to do at receiver here? I know we just took Davante Adams in the Dawg Bowl. I guess we'll do that. I mean, why not? If it's good enough for a Dawg Bowl, it's good enough for here. That doesn't actually mean anything at all. It's actually probably not true. There's probably a lot of players you draft in Dawg Bowls you shouldn't draft in the main VR. But we're going to take Davante Adams there, and then we're going to take one of these tight ends. Hartman goes Tet Waddle, like both those guys. Let's just take Tyler Warren. We won't overcomplicate this team. So we got Genty JSN. Comment. Oh my gosh, my stream froze. All right, yeah, that is exactly what it was. Chris noting all the alpha, the nose blowing. Yeah, that's the trick. That's the real trick to to getting a Dawg Bowl sheet is just be sick as a dog as you are drafting, and eventually, you know, the universe will get confused and will grant. You know, Darnold, nobody's taking. Stafford, people are taking, and Daniel Jones is, I think he's like the QB 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, he's QB 6. So I guess Darnold. I did not realize Darnold was QB 7. It feels like he's taken less frequently than maybe I realized. But we could look at making this a Darnold team. We could make this potentially a Darnold team. You know, if we want to take somebody that's kind of less owned and make this a game stack, we could take Etienne. It is hard for me to pass on Rico Dowdle. I think Rico Dowdle is grossly underpriced. So I'll queue up Dowdle. We'll see if McCoy gives it to me. If he doesn't, well, we'll try to do Dowdle Darnold. I think that's not a bad way to get there. So let's see. McCoy winds the clock. Hartman might get a gift with Ferguson here. My God. Oh, Hartman can do whatever he likes. Hartman is a very sharp player. I would never suggest for Hartman what to do, but I feel like anytime I'm in these shoes and I need a tight end, Jake Ferguson is not still there. But you know what? We all can make our own choices. We did see Hunter Henry go to easy there. Hartman does ultimately take him. So let's recap everyone's team. I think I will do a Darnold, make this a Darnold stack. We'll just make this a Darnold stack. So this team ends up being Darnold, Genty, Rico Dowdle, JSN, Davante Adams, and Tyler Warren. Yeah, you convinced me, Chad. Yeah, I know. I figured it was very tough to. It's a tough choice there, but no, I don't want to tell anyone what to do. So Hartman, he goes A-Chain, Kyron, Tet, Waddle, Bryce Young, and Ferguson. So he gets the Dolphins double, does not go with Tua, instead goes with the Young, Tet, and McMillan combo, gets the Fergie bring back to that. I wonder, Hartman, and I wonder if you will be so kind as to tell us, were you planning on going Tua, but then ended up going Young because you got Fergie, and now this turned into a unexpected game stack, or maybe you saw it coming because well, I don't know. I guess this guy taking Rashad White was probably a surprise. I think most people there take Fergie. So anyway, I'd be interested if you pivoted because Fergie became available into Young. Go easy cards. Daniel Jones, not QB6. There was some QB already draft. Okay, thank you. I thought he was QB7. Maybe he was actually QB8. I don't know. Go easy cards. I guess I'll have to drop in another one and find out. So let me get the timestamp rolling. Let's check in on Easy because Easy is one of these people we should be getting some alpha from when we can watch what they're doing. Jonathan Taylor, Javonte, and so he does the Drake May, Hunter Henry combo from the middle of the board ahead of Fergie there. I wonder if he was committed to the bit or if he, prefers Henry to Ferguson. Interesting there. And then takes Allen and Olave. I think both these players are nice. Don't see Olave drafted much, but don't mind that at all. Hartman says, didn't really think about it when I took Waddle and then was going to go 2 until the game stack was available with Ferg. Yep. That makes sense. All right, cool. Yeah, so Chris Olave, Keenan Allen, a couple late scrolls from Easy down there. All right, let's do one more and then maybe a prime time and we'll get on out of here. So we are at 141, 45. BR4. All right, we're going to do another main BR, and then we'll do another primetime hurry up. So let's get this going. What did I click? Waiting for 4. If anyone wants to hop on in. And yeah, this is it's a fun slate. Where is Olave down here? What's his ADP? Yeah, 35.8. So largely going undrafted. Definitely a few names you can consider. I mean, you want to go back to Jacoby Myers? Well, I think Kendrick Bourne is going to rise if Pearsall and Jennings are out. Travis Hunter, kind of fun. Started getting targeted at the very end of the game. Only had 3 receptions, but they did come at a very important, high-profile time. So now we got Hartman at the 1. We got Fantasy Dog in here at the 5. Tubins. So another Tubins team incoming. Very sharp drafter there. All right. I'm in. All right, Fantasy Dog. Love to see it in at the 5. Good luck to you. Good luck to Hartman. And let's rock and roll. Let's see what we can make happen here. All right. Starting in 26 seconds. Yeah, don't don't have much going on. I already talked about the eliminator teams. Excited for tonight though. Excited to see what I think we're going to learn a lot, at least from this from the breakdown of the Scatabo Tracy stuff. I know we're not in the primetime slate, but I have been thinking about that. I'm very excited for tonight's game. I already got the jersey on. We're ready. We are ready here for some football. The wait between Thursday and Monday sometimes feels longer than normal, and this week it has felt long. So we got Dak at the 2. Very interesting. I'm not like worried we're going to get things thrown out. People do take quarterbacks early sometimes. So as long as they're not taking, Kevontae Turpin, we're probably okay at pick 11. I can't even say Ryan Flournoy because he's not in the pool. That is unfortunate because Ryan. There's nobody named Ryan, so that's a big bummer. Bad day for Ryans out there everywhere. So we got Puka here. We got Fantasy Dog taking JSN. Tubins gets a nice Jacobs. Javonte start. Hartman starts with Jonathan Taylor. Let's see what happens. Hartman says it felt like there was supposed to be a game yesterday. Yeah. If you're hold on. So we got Puka. Let's do Puka Egbuka. A little kind of rhyming symmetry. We'll go with some of the later running backs on this team. I think the baseball bros are not sad because baseball is in full swing. I myself used to be a big baseball bro. I just have not had time to keep up with it at all. And my Orioles have been long deceased this year. But it seems like people have been really into it. I know there's a big New York contingent. Sorry, I'm deciding. You know what? I don't want no McBride, and maybe Jacoby Brissett can actually see over his offensive line. And so let's take a McBride chair. I've been super light on him. He might. You never know. Sometimes these backups come in and they lock onto their best option, and that's probably Trey McBride. I know there's a big New York contingent of people who are into the dailies, and so they're probably pretty upset. I know it seemed like we might get a Yankees comeback against the Blue Jays, but it was not to be. Sort of two worlds. I got a lot of the best ball daily guys who are into the Yankees, and then for some reason a lot of the fantasy podcasters are Canadian, like the whole Pat Mayo universe. A lot of Canadians there, so a lot of Blue Jays fans in the kind of PME extended universe. So the kind of an interesting dichotomy of the a lot of the Blue Jays people did seem to think like when they lost Game 3, like, oh no, here we go again. But it's all happening again. But they did manage to get home, so happy for the Blue Jays, folks. We'll take Rachaad White, and we took Rachaad White, and we have Igbuka, which is not really what I wanted to do, but we did it, and it's too late. Hartman, the big New York contingent, probably not feeling great today. No, that is tough. Chris saying, I was at Camden Yards when Ripken tied and then broke the streak. O's will always have a soft spot in my heart. That is awesome. That is awesome. Let me make my pick, and then I have a weirdly tangential story to about that. Everybody has running backs, and I'm going to take one more running back. So I'm just going to take Baker now because this team desperately needs Baker to be who you need, and I need to take one more player. So we'll just hope that the Baker Mayfield stomp. I worked with a guy who went to the game that Ripken tied and had the chance to go to the game that Ripken beat the streak and declined it. And his reasoning was, quote, well, not quote, I don't actually know exactly what he said. He said he's only going to tie the record once, but every game he plays from here on is beating the record. So that game's not that meaningful. And I'm like, well, I see what you're saying, but I vehemently disagree. Like, I think everyone wants to be there when the record is broken. And I suppose every game after that, you could say was a game he set a new record. But I think if most people you ask, would you rather be when someone's there to tie a record or beat the record for the first time? They would want to beat the record for the first time. And I was like, this is a very strange outlook on things. I'm going to take Kendrick Bourne because I'm a desperate man and I now need this Tampa Bay game to shoot out. And so we're going to go 2 running back. We're going to say this is the only game that scores any points. We're going to take Baker, Rachaad, Puka, Igbuka, Kendrick Bourne, and Trey McBride. I'll say this is a very good team for the Deposit Kingdom contest. This is a very good Engage 8 team. I don't think this is a very good main BR team because I think my upside is too capped to like score all the points you need. But I like this for other contests. So I might try to recreate something like this for other stuff. But I think I messed up when I did Igbuka and White. You never know. There are weeks when this gets home, but I think it's a touch thin for BR. So, but yeah, I agree, Chris. I thought that was a little bit lunacy there. Greg says, big Yankees fan, team was never winning anything. Fire Boone. Oh no. Yeah. Fantasy Dog saying I won. All right, let's check it out. Let's see what you did, Fantasy Dog. JSN, Genty, Warren, Dowdle, and then QJ Herbert. Yeah, I love the QJ Herbert pairing. I'm going to have a lot of QJ Herbert, QJ Ladd, QJ Keenan teams. So, yeah, I I have no notes, Fantasy Dog. If I found this team in my portfolio, it would not look out of place, and I would be very happy to have it there. So, Fantasy Dog, like the team you built. Let's see what Hartman did. Taylor, A-Chain, Devontae Adams, Tucker Craft, Staffy, and Ridley. So a scroll to F down in Ridley. We're seeing him taking a lot of dog bowls. I like the Ridley pick a lot. I think that makes a ton of sense. Hartman, I like the team. Let's see what Tubins did. Jacobs, Javonte, Steph Diggs, Drake May, Metcalf, and the Fannin bet. Oh my goodness. So truly scrolling. Truly scrolling. If you don't get one of those first 4 tight ends, I think you should scroll. And man, did he ever. A little bit of a bring back to Metcalf. Scrolled past Njoku, went straight to Fannin. Hey, do not mind that. Yeah, I like your team, Fantasy Dog. I think that's a fun team. Let's do one more prime time hurry up, and then I will probably call it here. So let's see, where are we on the stream? If you haven't, please like, please sub. And again, this has been such a fun stream. I think we built some good teams. Other than my last one, I don't think that's live to win the main BR, but such is life. Such is life. All right, prime time hurry up. Waiting for one, and we're off. And we are off. Let's see what we get. Fannin, courage of your convictions. That pick. I don't mind that at all, Chris. I don't mind that at all, because if one of the 4 elite tight ends separates, you might be screwed. But if they don't, and it's, you can get 15-20 points out of a 3% owned tight end in the main BR, that's like what dreams are made of. So I don't hate that Fannin pick at all. I think there's a lot of Fannins down there that you can pick from, like similar bets. If you want to be the Taysom better, you can, but I think Fannin will be even less owned than Taysom, because Taysom just has that like mystery box allure. Hartman asking, how many 6-man BRs you play a week roughly? Around 80 to 100 now. I used to do around 25 before I won the main BR last year. So I the week I won, I played 22. So I don't, at a certain point, I feel like I'm starting to dupe myself, and frankly, I don't multi-table. So I do these all hand one at a time with no RTA. So it becomes a little draining past that. I feel like my teams start being not good. I start double stacking in the main BR that I don't want to do, like unintentionally. So, I feel like I hit kind of a tipping point around that, but it also depends on time, depends on childcare stuff. Like I've got my little 2-year-old guy, and, we're hanging out. I'm not doing as much drafting, but if I find myself with a couple hours free and no household things, I'll, rip 20-30 in a sitting, something like that. 637-1 is the hope. I don't know. I think he's hoping for more, but that's the realistic hope, maybe. So we got Saquon. I took Saquon at the 1. Let's do Worthy. All right, it's our last draft. Let's do Worthy Scatabo. We're gonna live a little. I think Scatabo is. I really think he's slightly overpriced in the main BR, or excuse me, in the main in the primetime slate. But I don't want to have no Scatabo in this thing, so we'll rip that. We'll go Saquon Scatabo. Maybe a better, if I'm going to do Scatabo, to have started with Gibbs, but I'm still longing for the designed passes to Scatabo. I really hope they start scheming some of that in, but we'll see, because I think that will definitely boost the floor a little bit if we can get some of that work that really has not been there, because the checkdowns have evaporated with Jackson Dart. All right, I can pull the board up so people can see who folks are taking. Jalen Hurts goes next. I really don't like Hurts Saquon, although if ever you could do it, this slate, maybe they both get home, because the Giants Well, Giants defense is not like dismal, but a short slate, you might be okay doing that. I don't like doing Hurts Barkley on larger slates, but I think you could do it on the primetime slate if you wanted. But the math contingent will tell you that they are fairly negatively correlated, those two. Give me 1 second. Oh shoot. Well, all right, never mind. All right, we are coming up. Mahomes goes, so there goes that. There goes that possibility. Devonta Smith out there still. J-Mo still out there. I have not considered taking Justin Fields, but I mean, should we just be taking Justin Fields like that? That seems good, right? So let's queue up Fields. We need another wide receiver. Dear God, I'm looking for scrolls and I'm not finding anything. Fields, Mason Taylor. Fields a little weird because Mason Taylor goes undrafted sometimes, but I think we're gonna do that, and then we are going to scroll for a wide receiver and see if we can't dredge up something fun. Hartman says, does revenge game status stay on Barkley versus Giants indefinitely? I feel like it does. I feel like I'm still see that and think revenge game. And I feel like the Eagles are a team that is vengeful. So I'd be surprised to not have some sort of revenge game element tearing through. Lou Dog says Field seems too cheap. Yeah, I feel like Field should probably be drafted. Like, who's going to go undrafted? Dart, two of Goff, Nix, and Dart are going undrafted. It's tough because this is a good slate. This is a really good slate. Like, I think your overall point is correct that you're going to see Hurts, Mahomes drafted every single time. And I would probably assume Goff as well. Let me see, what's the ADP? Goff at 20. Yeah, then down to Nix at 22. Dart at 20. So Fields is the next guy after Goff. So I guess Fields is drafted most of the time. But not every time. The Jets defense has not been good. Dart, what's Dart's fantasy output has been fairly decent. So I don't know. This is kind of a fun primetime slate for sure. For sure. So, I mean, I kind of wanted to scroll for Isaac Tesla. This is kind of weird. I mean, do we just take like Troy Franklin or Mims? Let's take Marvin Mims. I'm too cowardly to take Tesla. But if for some reason Amon-Ra did miss, then I think Tesla goes from undrafted to taken in every draft. So maybe I should be grabbing him in case that happens. That said, I don't know. I'm not reading those tea leaves as if he is going to miss. And Marvin Mims is like a spike week player if he's going to be under-owned. So we got Fields, Saquon, Scatabo, Worthy, Mims, and Mason Taylor. So I don't know if this is the world's greatest team. It's kind of an interesting team. So I'm giving, if you're still here, go AZ Cards. I'm giving myself an interesting grade. Chris noting, but is Barkley any good after 400 touches? I love that narrative. Like, if he had only gotten 396, like, didn't Bijan get like 390 something? I can't remember. I think Bijan got close, but because he didn't crest that, get those last like 8 touches, then it doesn't. Then he's fine. Donnie Murphy, GM meetings all morning, catching you late. Hey, Donnie Murphy, appreciate you. Appreciate the support. I think we're probably going to call the stream. You know what? All right. You guys, how many likes do we have? I never do this. All right. Well, if you guys don't, if we can get to, how many likes do we have? We have 28 likes. All right. If we can get to 30 likes, we'll do one more main BR. We'll do one more main BR if we can get to 30. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to update the description and hop in a main BR because I'm just going to assume you all did it because you all know I'm going to do it anyway. But please like the stream. If you get to 30 likes, that would be fantastic. Appreciate all of you. Chris asking, did Chad add 5 new subs overnight? I'm not sure what we're at, but I know I added a few. I know I added a few last night, like a couple. But I'm thrilled. I mean, I'm glad to have more of y'all hanging out. I appreciate it. Donnie Murphy says, let's get him to 30, up to 238 followers. Let's go. Hey, that's great. That is great. I mean, I didn't break 100 until PPR Tyler had me on, and that was my kind of break over 100. I've gotten so much support from all of you, and just thanks again. You know, it's this channel started out me streaming to myself, and eventually we've been growing inch by inch, but appreciate it. Hey, Fantasy Dog is in. Awesome. We're waiting for one more. If anyone wants to get in, a main BR. We'll see if we do anything wonky. If we try to find a fun scroll down stack. We're probably not going to try to double stack intentionally, but you never know. If you're going to unstack, if you're going to double stack an offense, the Bucks are kind of a fun one to do it. So Fantasy Dog, you're rewarded for hanging out with the 1.1. So good luck there. We're in at the 5. We'll see what we can build out of here. You know, maybe we do the same thing where we start with Genty from the 5 and we take Igbuka. We take a JSN at the 8. But we'll see. We'll see what the room hands to us. Chris says, we've got to get you charismatic voice sub. No, I don't know what charismatic voice is, but yeah, that's something I wish I had. Just one of those like radio, like the Mike Shope radio voice. Like, my God, it's just so pleasant to listen to, and I wish I had that. Fantasy Dog noting Puka, it is. Sorry, I didn't mean to flash that. Like we were. Chris saying, look it up. I will look it up off stream in case you're rug pulling me, and that is some kind of like after dark channel. But she was an opera singer. Ah, okay. Well, now I feel like this person's gonna have like 3 million subs. So at this point, we're trying to get to 300. So let's see what we can get. We got Taylor going CMC. If I don't get Jacobs, I'm going to go straight to Genty. Let's see what Matthew 59 does. Matthew 59. He's hemming and hawing. He's thinking about what he wants. All right, I know you would, Chris, I know you would not rug pull me. I do know that. All right, we're going to take Josh Jacobs. We're going to be unimaginative here, but I do love the Jacobs role here. Let's see. Charismatic voice, YouTube, 2+ million followers. My God. So unfortunately, Genty goes. So now that Genty's gone, we are free. We are free from the shackles of ADP. Let's just take Jamar Chase. I've been kind of light on him. I don't think he's going to come back. It's a little lazy doing the game stack pairing, but I think Jacobs with Flacco makes sense. Obviously, beware. You cannot take Joe Flacco. He's in the pool. He's got this flaming O tag. If you take him, you will amass 0 points. I don't even think they're going to let you swap because he shows up as out. He is not getting credited for points this week. So please do not take Joe Flacco, or you are losing money and you're going to be emailing Underdog support, and that's not great. So consider Joe Flacco out of the pool for the week, but I do think Jamar Chase could potentially benefit there. Let's see. All right. I've got concepts of a plan coming together. For how we want to construct this team. We'll see if the room lets me do what we want to do. We got Fantasy Dog. He takes Puka at the 1, McBride at the 2.6. Going round the turn, he takes Kyron. All right. I like the Kyron pick. Makes a ton of sense. Going to project like a monster. I think when Big ETR came out last night. I have not seen grumblings of their projections, but I have to imagine Kyron's going to project super well against the floundering Ravens about now. All right, McMillan goes. I want Diggs. I want to do a Diggs May team. Those are the concepts of the plan. If Diggs goes, I'll be slightly disappointed because I want to build this team and I'd like to build it on stream because I think it's kind of a fun idea. But we'll see what Matthew does. He takes Warren. All right, we're going to take Diggs. You could do the same thing I'm going to do with not Diggs. We're going to do Diggs, Drake, May. I do really like Fergie in Kraft, so I'm a little afraid of pushing May because people have been taking him unstacked. That's my problem, and I can't stack Chase. But man, you know what? We're going to hope no one does it. We're going to take our guy Fergie. We're going to go for it. The concept here is going to be this Drake May Diggs stack. Let's see if we can't get it. We'll see if we can't get it. The good news is there's definitely a few stacking options. Fantasy Dog has the logical staffy thing. We'll see if that's the way he goes. Of course, Set Cards also has the logical staffy thing. And the problem is you have the Hunter Henry Drake May instant stack, which Set Cards was live to do. We don't see them do it. Fantasy Dog also could take unstacked Drake May. You can't get mad at people for taking unstacked Drake May. This is a weird quarterback week, so we'll see. We will see if they go. Socrates. Hey, first of all, Socrates. Thanks for coming and hanging out. ETR projections haven't come out for BR. So I assume they've come out for the week-long stuff, which I think some people kind of port over or at least eyeball for BR. But if that's not true, let me know, because I don't know why I thought their first run came out on Wednesday. Set Cards takes Drake May. Gosh darn it. All right. Well, there goes that. And we can't stack Dak. The vibe is in shambles. But we shall overcome. We will get a quarterback on this team. It just won't be the way we had hoped to play it. Maybe we'll pivot and we'll just make this a Jordan Love to Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs does catch passes. Jordan Love does spread the ball around. If we think Cincinnati's defense is garbage, I don't hate going Love Jacobs even in the main BR. I think you can do this in all formats. So we're going to give this a crack, assuming Match doesn't take Jordan Love, which he could, in which case we're just going to take unstacked Justin Herbert. All right, Daniel Jones, another quarterback you can take without a stacking partner. We'll take Jordan Love. I think that's fine. Socrates saying, yes, DraftKings FanDuel came out last night. BR stuff Thursday noon. Gotcha. Yeah, Puka projection monster. Not surprising. Not surprising whatsoever. He has just been head and shoulders the wide receiver one. And I think there's an argument to take him at the 1.1 in BRs like Fantasy Dog did here. I think if you want to play it like that, I don't think you're playing bad. Tongas with Purdy, a good player. No, set swap to Mac. Yeah, I think that's great. All right, here is the last pick of the draft. We're going to take Kendre Miller. This is to me a little more of a Dawg Bowl play than a main BR play. But I think even with the Q tags and swapping, I don't think Kendre is going to turn into the highest rated running back on the slate. But if Kamara's ruled out, I think Kendre Miller is going to be fantastic. I wanted to do Drake May and Diggs opposite Kendre, but that's fine. I don't really, not too fussed if they end up their own mini stack with the quarterback being Love. But I think Kendre is going to be a riser. And if Kamara returns to practice, this is not the best pick for a 6-person, but he still got 10 carries last week. Still looks like he's going to be involved. I think the Kamara sunset. The sun is low in the sky for Kamara in New Orleans. So I think Kendre Miller looked good in his opportunities. He could potentially still get there even in a split backfield. But if we are playing this as though we're in early on Kamara missing. Again, you don't have to get this aggressive. I think you can wait. Even if Kamara's ruled out, we're probably looking at most 4th round Kendre. I don't think he'd steam higher than that. And you're at that point, remember, in the 6 persons, people are still filling out rosters. I don't think you're combinatorially getting anything you couldn't necessarily get. But just putting that on everyone's radar. Just something we're watching for. Chris says 7 of my 13 Puka teams are advancing in BBM and 3 are within 18 points. I mean, yeah, it's he has been such a smash at the back end of BBMs. Is it better to take Kamara and swap or no because you might get sniped? Yeah, I don't know. I guess the issue is, if you take Kamara, I feel like if they both play, I kind of want Kendre more anyway, weirdly enough. I don't know. I think you could do that too. I think my issue is I think a lot of people, they're playing the Q tag game with Jennings and with Pearsall, and maybe even with Bucky to a lesser extent. That I wonder if you want to have Kendre as your highest guy anyway, because then you might just get a lot of Kendre. I don't know. I haven't thought through that all the way, but I don't hate that idea. I mean, and that's another plug for the masterclass. They do a great section on how to play the Q tag. I need to review that because this is a massive Q tag week. I actually think it's free. I think they made that lesson free, if I'm not mistaken. Something about swaps. But yeah, check out the masterclass. Those guys, John, Nez, and Pete did a phenomenal job. And the Q tag stuff is really a place where you can unlock some value in the BRs. Chris said I should have had 25, especially when the Stafford FUD hit. If Kamara misses, all aboard the Taysom trade. That's another way to play it, James. Another way we could see more Taysom Hill for sure. I kind of wish I had taken more Taysom early in the week in some of my dog bowls, because I'm not going to do that many more, and I don't have any Taysom yet. Artman makes sense. Worried about Kamara, super limited but active. Yep, could happen too. Go AZ Cards throwing 3 buckets of cold water. None of the above. Well, that's no fun. That's no fun. I mean, we got to believe in something. Go AZ Cards. We got to believe in something. And in these 6-person dog bowls, again, you don't need to take Kendre Miller. Like, Derrick Henry went undrafted. Travis Etienne still has the lion's share of the backfield. Chase Brown is gonna get a lot of workload, even though we think he's dust. He might be better with Flacco. Hassan Haskins, if you think the backfield is Haskins heavy, you could click him. Vidal's not in the player pool. I've taken a little Haskins in the dog bowl. I think we're getting into like too cute territory. I mean, Michael Carter is picked like 26 in dog bowls, and he's undrafted here. I think you can click Michael Carter if you want, but no one's clicking him. So you don't need to take Kendre Miller. That might be fancy play syndrome, but when you're streaming, you gotta showboat a little, and maybe Kendre Miller is some showboating. But I don't think it's bad, but I think it's a name to keep an eye on. And I was trying to build a mini Diggs Kendre thing going in this draft. Big Dawg undrafted hurts to see, but makes sense. Yeah, it's tough. It is tough to see where he is, but you know what? Maybe better days are ahead. I think Stanley returned to practice or not. I'd have to look, but maybe better days ahead for Baltimore, because certainly the days would be tough to get significantly worse. But everybody, thank you so much. If you can, drop a like, drop a sub. We will be here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. for the final cram session before the weekend. It's been so fun. Appreciate all of you. And take care. I'll see you all tomorrow.